take over. So, Mr. Alex, I don't know if you have any, so you can introduce yourself better and just give us a clear view of who you are. Let me see a brief summary of who you are. So thank you so much. So please, let's keep clapping.
Okay, so thank you for having me once again. I'm excited to be here. Personally, I'm for growing businesses and development. And the presentation. Hope everybody can hear me.
No, Mr. Alex, you're breaking.
Hello,
I can hear you now.
Okay. So, thank you for having me here. I'm so excited to be part of this workshop. As much as I'll be the one speaking, I'm also here to learn. I mean, it's Weave Academy for Christ's sake. Weave Academy for Christ's sake. So it's a learning place. So, but then, excited. Personally, one of the driving force for me is positivity. I'm driven by being positive. I'm hopeful. I'm excited by it. So I don't often see problems. I see challenges. And when the topic came, I'm like, okay, somebody must have stitched on me here. But then I'm excited to be here. Personally, I have career-wise, I have over 15 years experience corporate-wise. Also, I have my own business. Aside that, aside being the CPDO, and CEO of the project, I'm also the CEO of YarnChat, a new product that set up to rival WhatsApp. So we call it the YarnChat. New product coming to the market. You hear of it so soon. So, so I'm excited for what Weave Academy is doing, raising corporate people, raising people that are driven to achieving things. So I'm really excited. I hope that talks about me a little bit. Thank you. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. Thank you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
So I'm just going to share my slide now. Take it off.
Who is your
Does anybody hear me now?
Yes, we can.
So we're talking about growth mindset and fixed mindset. And thank you for waiting for to talk about it. So we'll just dive into it.
Yeah. Okay.
What do we understand about mindset? Oh, Darren, want to say something? What is mindset?
I'm sorry, Mr. Alex, your voice is not so loud.
Okay.
Yes. Alumni, waivers, please, if you're, please, can you mute yourself so we can hear Mr. Alex clearly for this session? Thank you. Please, if your mic is unmuted, please kindly mute it so we can hear him clearly, because he has said his presentation. Okay, Mr. Alex, you can continue. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Alex, can you hear me?
Confirm if you can hear me better.
Yes, I can hear you better now.
Okay. Okay, so what's mindset? Your mindset is your collection of thoughts and beliefs that shape your thoughts, habits. Your thoughts, habits affect how you think and what you do. So I'm going to break this down. Majority of us grew up as Christians or Muslims because that is what our parents are. Basically, I mean, we didn't have anything until probably when we grew up, and for one reason or the other, we converted to another religion, which is fine. But the first thing we knew was that you were born a Muslim, you were born a Christian. You are probably taught all of this. You believe it. Some even grew up to be dogmatic about it. It is all good, but this is what forms your belief system. Now, you expect that people that grew up in somewhere like Lagos and someone that grew up somewhere like in the northern part of the country, we have different entirely perspective to things. You expect some to be more respectful, while others less respectful. So I say all of these things because of my experience with that I've had with people across the country. So I can tell you for a certain fact that sorry about that. So I was saying that cut across everywhere. In this age, you hear about tribalism, racism, xenophobia, everywhere in the world, not just Nigeria alone. It is because of the belief system that people have grew up with. Matter of fact, we often go ahead and give people names, people from different tribes, give them names. People from different regions, give them names. That is because of your belief. So I keep going. Your mindset impacts how you sense, how your sense of the world and how you make sense of you. Now, you see a particular part of this country thinks less of the other part of this country, and vice versa. Most especially when you are in the terrain, and it's very common. I'm just going to be practical as much as possible. When you come to the Southwest, people in Southwest think so little of you from the northern part. Why, when the Southwesterners go to the northern part of the country, it's the same thing. And this is just based on the perspective and how we grow. Forgetting that we are all human. We are core. Our core is humanity. Our reality is that we have two legs, You have one head, 2 ears, 2 eyes, and that's what it is. Sometimes we judge people by where they are from rather than who they are and what they grew up to be. Think about your intelligence. Think about your talent, your personality. All these qualities simply speak straight. Okay, please, that person knew themselves. It's teaching me my head. Thank you. And these qualities simply fixed straight, carved in stone, and that's that. I mean, all of these beliefs. I'm a Yoruba boy, we be Yoruba demons, all those kind of, just from a perspective about who you are and what I've believed is. What do you hear about certain people of this country or the world? But then the question is, are there things you can cultivate throughout your life? Your mindset also helps you to understand and believe. Let's talk about attitude. Your attitude is how you feel about something. Your mindset shapes your attitude. Your attitude reinforces your mindset. So, because I reside in Lagos, I've personally chosen that I'm not going to drive like an average Lagosian. So I don't do it. So if I'm going to join a line, if I'm going to drive and join a line, I'd rather just ask the person to please allow me in, rather than dragging the road, which is common in Lagos. And most often times, and I lie not, people will open those roads for me because I was deliberately asking for them to allow me in. Funny enough, for the sake of this meeting, I tried it this morning again, and it just worked. People just open the road for me to go through because I chose not to drag the road like an average Lagosian would do. So we can change our mindset. We can actually grow to have a better attitude through the understanding through what we feed our mind. Beliefs, the basic building blocks of life, of beliefs are ideas. Beliefs are like tabletop. As you build references and experiences, you add legs to your tabletop. And this is what I mean. If you leave Nigeria for another country, most especially when it's a Western country, the first thing you do is you have to unlearn everything you knew in Nigeria, and you have to relearn the new ways. That is how we grow as people. When you open yourself to new things, you grow. I've heard people say that, no, I cannot eat that food. I cannot taste that food. No. Where is the place of you growing up? Because most people that avoid these things, they tilt towards a particular part of what we'll be talking about here. And by the time we're done, I'm trusting that you'll be able to look at the class you belong to and how you can grow into a better class. Your beliefs shape your attitude. Your attitude shapes your beliefs. That's all. As simple as that. Your beliefs and attitude shape your mindset. Your mindset is a way of thinking. Whatever you perceive of me as Alex is what you think of me. Oh, so I did not tell you I'm from Edo State. So now, everything that you are thinking now is a function of every Edo person you have met. You have about to go, what's the capital, what's the state capital of Edo State? Oh, Benin. Well, I have a friend from Benin. Oh, I have friends from, see, it is all a function of whatever you have gone through. And that's how you form this mindset Justifiably, some can be wrong, others can be right. Question for everybody, because we are diving into the real topic now. Do geniuses, do they work, or does it just come naturally? I would like a feedback. Does it come naturally or is natural? I actually like a feedback. I want to know what people thinking. You can put in the chat box. Anything. Feedback, please. Am I not audible enough, Dara? I'm just seeing your message.
Your voice is a bit faded, so it's like quite a struggle to hear.
Oh, really? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to screen on my voice. Okay, so let me know if it's better. You can just interject.
It's better now.
Okay, so I was asking that based on what I have on the screen now, do we think genius? Do we think being a genius, do you think it's a work or it comes naturally? I want feedback in the chat box. Are we here? I want feedback, please. Can be natural, but can also gotten through hard work. Thank you, Abigail. I think it's natural. Emanuela, thank you. It comes from rigorous hard work. I appreciate that. Well, yes. I'm sure some of us have heard about who Messi and Ronaldo. I'm just going to use them as example. Messi, Ronaldo. One is genius. The other worked to become what he became. I'm sure you can tell the difference who it is. I'm not going to answer that question because I don't want to turn this class to a debate class, football debate class. So going back to what I'm saying, this is Archimedes. And it's everything you may think of a genius. But we check what other people have. So you'll be able to answer the question if it's rigorous work or natural. Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein is a scientist. I know him quite well, not because I'm that old, but because my first degree is in physics. I studied pure and applied physics. So we did so much about him. But he's the greatest and most influential physicist of all time to date. To date. Some of us will know who Michael Jordan is. One of the greatest footballer, basketballer right now. Pardon me. Basketball of our time, as in nobody has been able to surpass what Michael Jordan has achieved in NBA. Matter of fact, on the NBA website, right now it is written, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. Walter Disney was an American animator. He's late now. Film producer and entrepreneur. A pioneer of American animation industry. He introduced several developments in the production of cartoons. I'm sure we've seen a couple of movies that will have come with Walter Disney. Did you know that Albert Einstein's teacher once told him that his academic level was below par? Did you know Michael Jordan's coach told him that it was not special? It was the same thing like every other basketball player. Walter Disney was told he lacked creativity, he lacked imagination, creative imagination. At one point or the other, someone would have called you stupid or silly, or you don't have capacity to do what particular thing. This three set of people are to show you that they are all liars. All of it, the rest of you. So you just follow me, I'm going somewhere. So the question is, how did Michael Jordan, Albert Einstein, and Walt Disney became what they became? Fixed mindset, growth mindset. A fixed mindset will tell you intelligence and talent are fixed at birth. Growth mindset will tell you intelligence and talent can go up and go down. Fixed mindset. The brain is static. Talent and giftedness are permanent. So let me give you an example. I don't know Matthew, no. Right from primary school, I know that calculation is not my strength. I will not even there. I don't even try. For other people, it's other subjects. Even at our place of work, at the moment, there are some tasks to shy away from because it is not what you're used to or what you've been part of. I tell you, it's a function of the fixed mindset. Growth mindset. Every time you learn something new, you brain forms new connections. This is part of being optimistic. Your brain is excited when you add additional information to it. I hope everybody can see the screen. Fixed mindset leads to desire to look smart and therefore tendency to avoid challenges. I mean, this is quite common in the workplace. You wake up in the morning and show up. When tasks are being distributed, you want to be the next distributor by distributing the tasks or shying away from what you're supposed to do. No, it doesn't work. Every time during my career, I want to join an organization. And trust me, I've been part of a couple of organizations, both startup and what we call international organization. But every time I join this organization, I join them with the intention of learning and improving it as little as may be. So sometimes in my career, I joined a company. It's a common. We will know the company, but not just for intention. A very cheap advert on our Wave Academy. They produce milk, and I joined their team. Then I was the warehouse attendant, and I had a forklift driver that comes to supply the factory or move goods in from outside that come to the company. And my job is just to receive those goods and document it and ensure that they are ready. It's never my job. It's never my job to be able to learn how to drive a forklift. But one of my boss once told me, Alex, learn to break the rule, never break the law.
Hello, Mr. Alex.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Alex. You're not audible enough. I don't know if you have earpiece on. Maybe you can speak directly to it because it sounds like your device is far from you.
So I'm going to do that now. I apologize for that. Speaking to myself. So I'm just going to bring it to my button. Or better still, just
Mr. Alex, are you there?
I'm there. I'm trying to sort it out.
Okay.
Please confirm if it's better.
Yes, it's way better. Thank you.
Okay, so where do I start from? Or should I just continue?
You can continue.
Okay, so I was talking about me joining an organization and what one of my boss once told me that Alex must learn to break the rule and never break the law. For a while, that phrase challenged me. I didn't get what it meant. I finally unlocked it. And I unlocked it when I worked with this new organization. And it's not my job to drive a forklift. My job is to make sure that items were received accordingly and properly documented and arranged properly. But then I foresaw a problem. What if the driver assigned to me was not available for that day? Does that mean that my job was not for that day? I also know that the company pays demo reach on every truck that is not attended to every day. And it was my duty to ensure that we don't pay that demo reach. I learned how to drive forklift. And that come a day that it was needed. So what I'm saying is this. That skill, it's my skill now. Then I may not drive a forklift again for the rest of my life. But then I do rather have a skill and not need it than need that skill and don't have it. So I learned how to drive a forklift, and there come a day that it was useful. Because a crisis happened within the company, there was an escalation, that I had to go to the office in the middle of the night. And no forklift was going to be around. But the fact that I knew how to use forklift, I was able to check out my stock and everything was fine. That is where your fixed mindset and growth mindset are different. You must learn to face challenges. Challenges must excite you as a person, as an individual, if you want to grow. And I say this, you don't have to start. I am not even saying that we should be reckless. No, I'm saying that look at challenges, and the first thing you do is not, I cannot do this. No, it's not meant for me. I don't have the capacity for this. And I often brag with this. My knowledge of Excel was self-taught. From Excel 101 to advanced level of Excel. It was my knowledge. I learned it by myself. No, it was not even needed at that time. I learned it. Is it useful now? Oh yes, I already do. Matter of fact, I do UI UX right now, design right now, and the way I'm able to do it is because I have been able to design operations of companies, for departments, so I can design a system. Imagine me not learning Excel then. It will not be useful today for me. I'll probably be struggling with it again. Same thing goes with corridor knowledge. I self-taught myself. Please challenge yourself on a daily basis. Wake up and decide, what am I doing today? Matter of fact, you have the option to determine your long-term challenges and the short-term challenges. Most especially if you are an employee of an organization, because you will not always be the customer support. You will not always be the admin officer. And I know for a fact that at a junior level, what you need is technical skills. At a more superior level, what you need is relational skills. So while you are there, develop relational skills. Make sure your technical skills is A+. You know it to the latter. If you're a business owner, there's no other person should understand your terrain more than you. If you're a business owner, you must understand your industry in such a way that when anybody wakes you up, you can tell them the fact and figure about your industry. But all it takes is just for Wave Academy to say, oh, we have a couple of our alumni that are in this industry. Can you meet them? And that is it. But when you're not prepared and the opportunity is there, you're not just going to be able to match up. Let us learn to embrace challenges. I'm also aware that a lot of us give up easily, most especially when it's not going that way. That is why I said earlier, I'm not asking you to be reckless. I'm saying be a better person than you were yesterday. Every time you sleep, you go before you go to bed, ask yourself, what have I learned today? What new thing did I do today? Because that's how you grow. That's how you grow at your work. That's how you grow at your business. And see, and it's in business, it's a war zone out there. Even as an employee, no matter what you're doing, there are 5 other people that can do it better. I grew up in Ibadan, and I told my parents I was going to relocate to Lagos. Of course, I had family in Lagos, and I come to Lagos, and I decided I was going to settle it down in Lagos for a reason. And the reason was that Lagos is closer to the outside world. I mean, when new innovations, new technology, and all that, it comes to Lagos. It comes through Lagos. So the only way for me to compete with the best out there was to compete with Lagos. That was my driving force. Maybe for another day, I will tell you how the first 2 weeks of my Lagos career started. But I challenged myself deliberately that I want to compete with outside the world. And that's why I came to Lagos. So don't get me wrong, I'm not asking you to come to Lagos. If you're not in Lagos, I'm not asking you to come to Lagos. But I'm just telling you, no matter where you are, you can be the best of that place. Until you are the best, please be restless. So be persistent in setback. So, see effort as fixed mindset. We see effort as fruitless or worse. But see effort as a growth mindset. I need you, everybody in attendance here, to see a mindset as a path to mastery. John Maxwell says something. if I do something 1,000 times and I fail, I will not tell anybody that I failed 1,000 times. I will tell people that I know 1,000 ways to fail in this thing. Mindset, the narrative you give to your challenges, the narrative you give to your setback, that's what determines the kind of mindset you have. You know, I grew up in CFC, and I often say to my friends that there are two types of prayers. God, don't let me be poor, and God, make me rich. They're the same prayers, but different narratives. What is your prayer? What are you telling to yourself? How are you perceiving that challenges? Because you experience a snag in that task, does not mean you're not giving your best. Does not mean you have not learned something. Matter of fact, if anybody should come to you and ask, how does that thing work? You just tell them, oh, this is a different way to do it. And if you see anybody that's going to work in that part, you have the knowledge to not tell them not to work in that part. A lot of the times, people with fixed mindset, they don't know how to take feedback. Anytime, please, as we are saying all of these things, know where you belong to. Anytime they receive criticism, they become aggressive. Nobody can correct them. Nobody can see. Personally, I've got to a place whereby when anybody tell me, Alex, you're stupid, before I answer that I am not stupid, or I respond to I'm not stupid, I'll ask myself, what you did, is it worth being called stupid? And I'm not copying, I'm telling you exactly what I do to myself. I evaluate what I do and how I do it. So you must take things on. Yes, people may not be able to differentiate, be able to remove their emotion from the day they will deliver the message to you. But do not forget that whenever somebody gives a gift, half of the time you are looking forward to what is in the gift box rather than the wrapper itself. So whenever criticism comes, see it as a gift box. So ignore the box or the wrapper that's in. Look at the gift box and look at what it contains. So on this section, let's go to the filtering by other people's sources. Find lessons and inspiration from other people's sources and others. This is common for employees, right? I once worked in a company where the company is owned by Indians, still in existence. Trust me, and you know the company, I'm not going to mention their name. And every time they come up with a policy or new tax that we do, my colleagues would grumble, would complain. But then I often look like the bad egg in all of this because no wonder you even look like this. See the way you are. You are like Indian. That's why you're always saying what they are saying and you align. But I've always been an opinion. When you took this contract, when you took the employment, You were told that they will pay you XYZ amount, and you agreed to it. And you were also told that this will be your job for this XYZ amount. Yes. So 1 month, 2 months, 3 months into it, you started complaining. Why? You have to understand as an employee, for every organization you work, it's an opportunity for you to grow yourself. Matter of fact, the company is paying you to learn. If they have internet facility, you probably be using internet for free to learn. You have to say that you will not always be at that junior position for too long. How driven are you to learn? How driven are you to grow? Is that a colleague of yours that is doing well? And you're thinking, no, it's because it's a Oga. Please look for and ask her or him what he or she is doing better, and see if you can be better at it yourself too. Okay, I think I've mentioned this. Okay, so efforts. Fixed mindset view effort as a reflection of low intelligence. They often see hard work as big deal. I don't get it. I'm more intelligent now. I mean, if they see anybody, I once managed a company in Ibadan sometimes ago, and some of my colleagues told me back then that I cannot use my money for anybody. After 8 to 5, I'm done for that day. And that was it. And that kept going. And one day came, I called one of my colleagues because I was managing the business actually. I called them and I give them a story, not a story in particular, but what I figured out. Before retirement, my mom was a civil servant. I know what happened in civil service. And I'm going to say this so that we can all go back and look and see any civil servant around or present or retired. After their retirement and they get their gratuity, they oftentimes find it difficult to do a business of their own. Even if groundnut they are selling, it is almost unprofitable. They then look up to the children, to their family to sustain themselves. Now, what do we think happened? They have spent the 25 years, 30 years of their life practically doing nothing in the government, in the government office. Practically nothing. They get to office. They close early and be breaking melon and all that. So in all of it, they lack discipline. The basic thing that their life needed, they never learned it. So by the time they retire, they think with all the millions they will get, they can be able to do. No, it doesn't work like that. You cannot live your life in the pattern. It's a certain pattern, and you think it will change after that. I often advise employees the best way to grow is to develop the ownership mindset. Because a day comes that mindset becomes natural to you. That mindset becomes a working tool. By the time you are starting your home business or your home company, that is what's going to drive your company to survival. The growth mindset will see effort as a necessary part of success. They try harder when they are faced with a setback. Effort to them equals success. They use effort to overcome difficulty. Growth mindset. Those with growth mindset tend to create learning goals. Their goal is mastery and competence. Is there any tool you know how to do? How good are you? What good is your knowledge with that tool? Please do not forget that whenever you start anything, you are not good at it. One way or the other, we'll have seen babies learn how to walk. All of us here, we learn how to walk. And we all imagine when we started learning how to walk. No, we were not best at it. Matter of fact, at our first try, we probably fall a couple of times. And people cheered us up, hey, that's how it is. Learning a new skill, growing the mindset, the positive mindset, you have to know that you cannot be the best at the same time, at the moment, but you're going to grow into it. So when you're starting out, you must start out with intention to be the best out of it. No, for now, I take a UI UX academic class, and therefore God, I've made some money from it and all that. But I remember when I started learning this. Matter of fact, the first app I designed, I can't imagine I was one that did that. Because perfection does not come at the first try, not even the second. You have to do over and over and over and over, and you become the master, and you become a master of it. For the employees among us here, let me chip in something. Do you know that a competitor for your company, your present company where you are now, could be you? And this is what I mean. Every organization has a loophole. Either from the marketing perspective or from the operation perspective or management perspective. You are going to take this knowledge and you're going to start your own. Why fixing that in your own company? And because you understand the industry and because you grow to know it, you have the ability to be able to put up that kind of business. This is the mindset you should grow. This is the mindset that we need to be successful in our career and in our life. You're a business owner. Have you ever found out what your competitor is doing better than you're doing? Do you understand the pitfall of your business and how other competitors are managing it? You have to keep trying. Scores and marks reflect how you are doing now and how not measure their potential. I'm going to use the football, for example, again. We know Cristiano Ronaldo. Some of us will know Cristiano Ronaldo. And some of us will also know a player called Nani. He once played for Manchester United. By potential, Nani was considered to have potential more than Nani. No, I take that again. Nani was considered to have potential than Ronaldo. But then Ronaldo is considered one of the greatest footballers right now because he put the effort. He was not driven by the potential. He was driven about each step of what he wants to achieve. Goals and marks reflect how they are doing now, not measured by their potential. Look back at where you're coming from and look where you are right now. And look forward to where you want to be. It is not late for you to grow that growth mindset you need. People adopting growth mindset tend to generate other and new ways to do things. Since when you joined the organization you work with, what new thing have you brought to the table? What is different about when you are not there and when you are there? You have to be that deliberate. You have to be that intentional. If one route doesn't work, the growth mindset people will try another. They are restless. You will think out of the box to solve problems. They will believe they can. And that is the most important thing. Your belief. You have to believe you can do it. Okay, so I'm going to share a story of mine. Very funny. I've shared a couple of times. The Indian company I was referring to at that time that I worked with, I traveled from Ibadan for the interview. The interview did not start until like midday, and I left Ibadan since say 5, 6 in the morning, trying to beat traffic, Lagos traffic. So that we started the interview and we're giving the test, and I failed. This is my story. I failed, and every other person that had the good score, I scored below. I can't remember what the score was now. I know that they were told that everybody that scored below this should go back, that other people should stay back. I didn't go because I didn't know how to go back home and tell them that I failed the test that I could have passed. I stayed back, and the Indian was interviewing them. His name is Vishnu. Was interviewing them, and I stayed back. They went for lunch, they came back. I was still there. When the last person that, one of the ones that scored above the pass mark was done, I went to meet him. And he was surprised that he didn't see my script. Why am I here? I tell him to check. So somebody eventually brought my script. Apparently my script was not there because I did not pass. I was like, no, that you cannot interview me, that I didn't pass. And I told him that right here, right now, you should give me the test again. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. And he was all smiling, and I think he appreciated the fact that I was confident in myself. Then he told me to meet the then sales regional manager, and I went to meet him, Mr. Wale. Mr. Wale, Mr. Vishnu asked me to meet you. Mr. Wale just thought that what Mr. Vishnu meant was that he should onboard me. Mr. Wale opened his draft and gave me an employment letter. I should show it to the HR on my way out. That is how I got the job into that company. Now, what happened is that my second month in that company, I was the best sales trainee. The third month, I was the best sales trainee. The fourth month, I was the best sales trainee. Matter of fact, my probation ended with a promotion as a product supervisor. There's so much a positive, a growth mindset will bring to you than the moment, because you will not see failure, you will not see setback in things. You'll be able to grow, you'll be able to think out of the box to achieve things. I had a belief in my mind. I cannot go back to where I'm coming from to tell them that I was not taking because I failed the test. changing our mindset. Please pay attention to learning. Let us be driven by learning. Let us want to learn deliberately. Everything that drives us, let it be about learning. I was having a conversation with somebody 2 days ago, and I was saying that it's difficult to imagine a young adult in this age that does not know how to drive. I'm sorry, I know we don't have the same level of pockets. But when opportunities are going to come, they're going to come with full package. Are you prepared for it? I told the person, I cannot imagine a graduate in this age, and thank God for Wave Academies, in this age that does not know how to use basic tools, Excel, Microsoft Word, slides. It is not allowed. Particularly in this time and age that the world is not a global market. People sit in their home and work in countries that are miles ahead of them. Please learn. Even when you are good at a thing, learn another skill. Be better at it. Focus on what I am learning rather than focusing on how I feel. So, learning comes with inconvenience. Learning comes with a measure of pain. However, be driven by what you want to achieve by learning rather than what you feel at that moment. Some of us have gone to the gym and we refuse to go back again. Is that because we cannot handle the pain of our body stretching? Or some of us enter and see what other people are doing and like, I refuse to be intimidated, and you just go back. Focus on what you're learning. If you go through a route to your office, can you try to take another route? Try out new ways of doing things and seek out challenges. Don't be too dogmatic in your ways. Look for different ways to do things different. Your apartment where you stay, how many times have you changed the way it is? How many times have you rearranged it? Pay attention to your breath. Do things differently. Breathe in a fresh breath. Use self-motivating statements, such as the harder it gets, the harder I try. There's a popular saying that says that tough situations don't last, tough men do. Or rather, the word is it? Oh, tough times don't last. Tough men do. Tough people do. That is it. Encourage yourself. See, let me stay on this point for a while. If we go to the hospital and if you go to the hospital and the doctor comes to you and you have a complaint, one reason or another, and the doctor will ask you, how do you feel? Oh, I have headache. Oh, I have pain. Oh, this, that. Oh, this, that. The only way the doctor can get to prescribe drugs for you or to administer any form of treatment to you is the function of whatever feedback you give to the doctor. So I challenge us today that nobody should know us better than us. You should know yourself like the back of your hand. You own it to yourself. So every time you're going to engage yourself in a new skill, in a new activity, please encourage yourself. Please encourage yourself. Don't wait for encouragement from another person. No, it will come. It will not come. But be your first place of encouragement. You will fall a couple of times. There are people that, oh, I want the fit farm. I want to do fit farm. After 2 days in the gym, after 2 days of veggies, you find out that you're back to that cave. Yes, it's okay to fall, but keep your eyes on the goal and motivate yourself that you can do it. You can achieve it, you can do it. Try things that are challenging. Leave your comfort zone. Be free. I know some people that they grew up in a particular area because that's where their family were staying and all that. And they still find themselves in that area. Personally, I don't appreciate that. When I went to serve, I served in Ekiti, somewhere called Imre. I told my student back then that I never knew what Imre is or where Imre was. I have no clue that anywhere in the world is called Imre. That's how minute that place is in the context of every other place where they can be. So I was saying this in light of course, they were all speaking vernacular, speaking Yoruba, and as I say, just speak English. Imagine if I'm not able to speak English here, how will I communicate to you guys? And you will not always be around these people that you'll be able to speak Yoruba. You have to go somewhere that they don't understand Yoruba, and you have to communicate with them. Our path to growth is our ability to want to leave our comfort zone. It will challenge us, yes. It will take a bit of pain, yes. But challenge yourself. Try something different. Try something new. Don't forget, don't give up easily. It is not always important that you know how to do something at first. We've talked about that already. Because I don't have 6 pack. I have 1 pack, right? I'm always concerned about removing my shirts when I'm at the poolside. Then that day came, I was at a pool in Lagos, and I saw one big tummy man. The man did not even care, he was just in a swim short. I just entered there, I'm like, Alex, look at you, look at your life. Even with your 1 pack, look, this man with amusement park did not care. Guys, right there. I put up my shirt and I entered the water, and that's it. And since then, it's different. I go to any pool, I go to any beach, my shirt is off. It's just my short. You don't like it, close your eyes. You are responsible for yourself. There will always be a first time to your new thing. Everybody that has a skill now, everybody that knows anything, they started somewhere. I told one of my friends, my colleague actually, I told her that, say, don't drive yourself by my pace. I did not get here today. It takes a measure of work and time. So give yourself the time, but be consistent at learning. Then you'll be there sometime not far away. Establishing a growth mindset. Learn. It is continuous. It is unending. When you are done learning, you learn again. When you are done learning, you learn again. By the grace of God, I have 2 master's degrees. I'm on the 3rd one once I dropped out. Thanks to Q Project Technologies. Because I am not afraid to learn. I have one of the things that is driving me in life is to impact in generation as much as possible, which is one of the reasons why I have an academy, actually, because I'm driven by giving back to society, giving back to young people that do not have the privilege that I have, do not have the ability to learn it like I learn.
You're all right.
So please, it is more important to learn than get through on learning and improvement. What I mean by that is good grades are good, but all of us that have gone through one form of educational formal education before, we know what we call crown. Crown are prof. You cram to pass. It was not necessary that you learnt anything. Please focus on learning and improving yourself. Realize hard work is the key. Putting a lot of work and effort into learning and working hard is key. Speak challenges, focus on strategies, effort, struggle, and persistence despite setback. Hard work is key. If anybody tells you otherwise, they're joking. But people will say work smart. Yes, in working smart, hard work is embedded. Show me someone that is successful. Show me someone that you look up to, and you will not see hard work in it. Set feedback. Capitalize on mistake. Confront deficiencies. Reflect on different strategies that work. That work and don't work. Focus on learning and improving. Don't let your mistake deter you from your goal. You will make mistakes. There's an adage in Yoruba that says that there is no way you walk on head that your head will not shake. So expect it that you make mistakes on how you make the mistake and where you make the mistake. Expect it, but don't stop learning. How you interpret challenges, setbacks, how you take criticism is your choice. You are responsible for that. You can interpret them in a fixed mindset, a sign that fixed talent ability are lacking. Or you can interpret them in a growth mindset as signs that you need to wrap up your strategy and effort. Stretch yourself and expand your ability. There's an opportunity that came out in your company and it was passed, and you're blaming that, oh, because it's a yoga, because no. Grow yourself, add value to yourself. If your present company does not appreciate it, a new company will come that will embrace other skills, and you can take that company, you can take that ability there. On a daily basis, add value to yourself. It is all up to you. The way you interpret challenges, the way you see setbacks, the way you take criticism, it is all up to you. It's about you. It is not they didn't give me the tool to work with. No, where I am located is not the best place for business. Oh, those ones, they have more money. Why those reasons sometimes can be justifiable, but there are always ways that you can make it happen. It's all up to you. In conclusion, when you are asking yourself a question, or when you have asked yourself a question in the past, where do you fall into in a fixed mindset or growth mindset? A fixed mindset will ask, are you sure you can do it? Maybe you don't have a talent or ability. What if you fail? If you don't try, you can protect yourself and keep your dignity. Nobody will laugh at you. Nobody will make jest of you. This would be a snap if you really had a talent. Oh boy, don't try it. Oh. It is not meant for people like you. It's for people that have talent. Or are you the type that, oh, any small thing, it's not my fault. Oh. You pass the blame to the next person. A growth mindset will not think like that. A growth mindset will take responsibility and look for ways to fix it, and look for where he can learn from. Michael Jordan had passion to do for something, and that thing was basketball, but he put in the effort. Whatever you're doing right now, how much effort do you put into it? Matter of fact, this is the question I pose. Your work, the work you do right now, can you pay yourself for the job you do right now? Do you think if you were asked to be paying yourself for the measure of work you do for the organization or the contribution you bring to your business, can you pay yourself for it? If the answer is yes, then you're not doing enough. You have to grow your ability to the level whereby when you are asked how much can we pay you are confident in what you're asking for because you know the value you are bringing to the table. A growth mindset will say, if I don't try, I automatically fail. Where's the dignity in failure? Even Dangote, one of the richest men in Nigeria or Africa, has had failures along the way. He may not come out to say, yes, I failed, but he has failed somewhere, one way or the other. I'm not sure I can do it now, but I think I can learn to do it with time and effort. Determine what the question is for you and what you hear people say to you. Become that success that you desire. Let that success leave your head. Let it come to reality. It won't come cheap nor easy, but it will come good and worth the effort at the end of it. Somebody said that challenges leads to struggle. Struggle leads to growth. It takes practice and time to develop new skills. You cannot all be expert at everything, but you can improve your capacity. At this junction, I say thank you. I would like to take questions now.
Thank you, Alex, for this insightful session. So waivers, if you have any question, you can just raise your hand, or you can put your you can raise your hand, then come off mute when you're called upon, or you can drop your question in the chat box. Hello, can anyone hear me?
I can hear you though.
Okay, if you can hear me, say hi. Say hi on the chat box. Let me be sure that we can all hear me and we are following. Okay, Emanuela, Usman, Adeogun, Osas, Chika, I can see you. Hi, Emmanuel. Okay, so since we are all here, I would like us to, if you have questions for Mr. Alex, you can just raise your hand and ask him the question. You can raise your hand and come off mute when you're called upon, or you can drop your questions in the chat box for him to answer and give you clarity on whatever questions you have. Nobody has any questions for Mr. Alex. Okay, Emmanuel, I can see your hand. You can go ahead to ask.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My question actually, I didn't actually start the class with you because of my network, and it was kind of going off and on during the process of the lectures. So actually, my question is talking about this fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Hello?
You can go on. You can go on. Someone was
Okay,
muted, yeah, so I just muted the person. You can go on.
Okay. So what I wanted to ask is that having this mindset about I heard you saying something about learning skills and all that. Okay, what if possibly you don't have, because I'm talking about myself right now, and talking about myself, I am actually learning video editing and motion graphics now, but there are times where some part of my tutorial, some part of my tutorials I'm supposed to take, the system that I use to take them doesn't allow me, that doesn't give me the ability to do those assignments or do those particular things during the process. Hello?
Go on,
Okay.
go on. Sorry.
Okay, so I was saying that sometimes the things that I use don't allow me to do some of my work perfectly well, because it doesn't get, as in, it doesn't have that standard of the ability to do some particular work that I do. So I don't know if it's possible, or it's not even possible for me to skip those lectures, but I don't know. And if probably maybe I go to a company and they ask me what I can do and what I can't, for the fact that I didn't actually learn those things on my own when learning them, because my system or the things that I use doesn't give me the ability to do it, can I just put to myself, or can I just tell them that I can't do that particular thing that I'm being asked to do? Or probably maybe I should just tell them that I know how to do it, but I have not done it before, or something like that, or stuff like that. Is it possible for me to just say it like that, or I should just leave it the way it is?
Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you for being down to earth with your question. Right. There are two ways to go about it. But one of the ways I will tell you is this: because you do not have the capacity at the moment, does not mean that you cannot afford to use to watch a YouTube video about how to do it. Because by the time you go there, you go to the company for interview, you go there with the knowledge, not the ability to do it. Oh, are you aware? Are you conversant with the use of this tool? Yes, I have a basic knowledge. It's going to be different with no, because you have seen YouTube video over and over. Matter of fact, all you need now is a better system to be able to use that tool, because you practically already know it. So you have the knowledge already. You just don't just have the technical skill to be able to do it. So when they ask you a question, do you know how to use the tool? You're not going to say no. Yes, I do know how to use. Yes, I know how to use the tool. I can do a couple of things, a couple of that with it. That's the way it is. You're not going to lie. You're going to tell the truth, and the truth is what it is. You know about it. I don't know if I don't know if I sound saying, Emmanuel. You know about that too. You're just limited by the present state. So you know it. You have to know it. You have to learn it. You have to learn it. I don't know if that answers your question, Manuel.
Yeah, sure, it does. That's exactly what I was asking. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel, for your question. I think I can see someone's hand raised. Okay, Fusho, I see your hand raised. If you want to ask a question, just come off mute and ask your question.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Alex, for the teaching. My question basically is, I really might not have been following. I really was not following closely at the beginning, but at the end I got something. So, but then I want to ask a question. I don't know if it's very it's related to what you talked about. So, in talking about growth mindset, what's the relationship between focus? How do you handle? Sorry for the how do you bring in many things that you're learning? Assuming you have learned this, you have learned that, you have learned, how do you know which to sort out? How do you know which is needed for you, needed in the journey of becoming the person that you have in mind to become? So how do you draw the line? How do you draw the balance between learning many things and because you want to accommodate, you want to have a growth mindset? How do you bring all of these things together? Then what is the place of focus? If you say we can learn many things, you say to have a good mindset, you need to focus on building your capacity, adding skilling up and adding skills to yourself. How do you balance it? How do you focus? What's the place of focus? So is it that the growth mindset doesn't permit versatility, or versatility also affects growth mindset? That's my question.
Okay, if I hear you clearly, Mr. Thank you for the question. You are asking the balance of learning skills, the ability to focus on what skill at a particular time.
Yeah.
So the first question is the first where I'll start from this. When I was towards the end of my NYSC, I'm a science student right now. I study physics in school, so my strength is not talking. My strength is not talking actually. So I'm a quiet person, the kind of person you probably call an introvert somewhat. But I want to be the best of what I want to become, right? So I went into LinkedIn, and I started looking at people in that position that I want to be. And I went back to their journey academically and career. That was when I knew that my first call was going to be in sales and marketing, because over 90% of them, locally and internationally, they all have sales experience or marketing experience. Then I knew that I'm going to be a sales person. That's where I was going to start from. So the next phase was now, what does it take to be a salesperson? So this is where I'm going to answer your question. You know what you determine to become. Look at all the skills that surrounds that, what you want to become. Look at what it amounts to. So start taking those skills one by one and start learning them. I get something. So cast adding that value to yourself. I'm not asking you to go and learn that, scattered. No. If you don't have the ability, please don't go there. Because so So someone like me, I called my painter to come and paint my house, right? And he wasn't coming on time. And I started painting the house myself. So not everybody has the capacity to do that, right? However, you know what you want to become. You know what the end game is for you. So you must look for, at every stage of that end game, you must look for skills that you need there. So, because by the time you get to the end, you'll have amounted all of these skills together and they become whole. So at the end of one, you start the other one. At the end of one, you start the other one. At the end of one, you start the other one. Before you know it. And if you have the capacity to learn two at the same time, why not? I struggle to read one novel. I know people that read 3 novels at the same time. 4 books. And I'm wondering, how do you keep focus? I don't know if I'm able to answer your question. I'm sure.
Yes, you do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alex, for answering Fusha's question. Fusha, I hope that was you're clear on, the question that you asked.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So Fusha and Emmanuel have asked their question. So if you have any other questions to ask, you can just raise up your hand or drop your questions on the chat box. Okay, so I have a question myself, Mr. Alex. So while others are trying to think about what questions to ask, I have a question. So you mentioned, I remember when you mentioned something about ownership mindsets, that it's good to have an ownership mindset. And we've spoken about fixed and growth mindset. So in this context of ownership mindsets, what are the characteristics of ownership mindsets? How can we have an ownership mindset? Mr. Alex, you hear my question? I should repeat my question.
Ownership mindset.
Yeah.
No, I heard you.
Okay.
Just hold on.
Okay.
Sorry about that. So for ownership mindset, number one, you must develop what I call, you must be passionate. You must develop ability to be passionate about whatever you do. But it is important that you're able to sink in what you do and what you breathe, because that's the only way you can grow in this. What I mean is this. Your ability to want to make something better, your ability to say challenge, I want to approach it and make it better, is how you develop that ownership spirit and ownership ability. And in process, you are growing yourself, because some of these skills you probably don't have it. When I was speaking, I mentioned the fact that you are being paid to learn. In some occasions, not for everybody, right? Some people come to the platform with experience, right? But when you don't have so much experience and you're being employed, they are paying you to learn. I mean, you're at that place, you're adding value. You hone it to yourself to be able to come to the table with something different, to have value, to add value to the system. And that is how you grow an ownership mindset. In turn, you have grown yourself because you identify where the issues are, you've taken upon yourself to address those issues. not by yourself, without your superior asking you to do it. Even there are times that your superior will even tell you, who send you message, you are not focusing on what you have to focus on. No, a day will come that will be beneficiary to you and to the company. And do not get it wrong. I'm not saying that you should not be subjective to authorities. However, what I'm saying is that your boss will not always be your boss. If you let that skill that you are learning, that attribute you want to add, the value you want to add to the company, go by because of the particular superior you have. What about the next superior comes? So you have to be able to grow yourself to a place whereby you are passionate, you become a passionate person, and that passionate person is able to deliver themselves to what they do. So that's what I believe it takes to develop a ownership mindset while you are growing with the right mentality or right mindset. I don't know if I answered the question, Dara.
Yes, you did, Mr. Alex. Thank you so much for answering my question. So I don't know if any other person has questions to ask. I'll just give a minute for waivers to ask whatever questions that they have. And after a minute, we can move on to the next item on the agenda. Any questions? Waivers, any questions for Mr. Alex before we conclude on to this session today? Okay, so it looks like no questions are forthcoming, so I think we'll just move on to the next agenda. So Mr. Alex, thank you so much for your session. It was so insightful. You really touched on growth and fixed mindset. So we have a way of saying thank you for your session. That's how and the way is we share our learnings on the session that you just presented, that you just taught to us. So waivers, alumni, when I call your name, you can just quickly unmute your mic and share your learnings from today's session. So we'll go with Adetunji. Kindly unmute your mic and share your learnings from today's session. Adetunji, if you cannot unmute your mic, you can drop your learnings from today's session, what you learned, what stood out for you. Usman, are you there? That's what Adetunji is trying to.
I'm sorry, good morning.
Okay, good morning. How are you?
Sorry, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, what really stood out for me is the growth mindset aspect. When Mr. Alice was talking about when he was showing from the slide the results of having a growth mindset, and that they are always learners, they are always open to learning, and they are the ones that have the ability to grow. But for those that have the fixed mindset, they just stay static on a particular point and things go by them. I might not really be able to put it in his words right now, but I like the aspect of when he was talking about the growth mindset produce more learning and you become a better version of yourself.
Okay, thank you, Adetunji, for sharing your learning and what stood out. Okay. I thought I heard a clap. Please, let's clap for Adetunji in the chat session. It really showed that he followed and he shared what stood out for him. So any other person wants to share their learnings for this session, Oduayo, You can share your learnings. Esther, Chika. You can unmute your mic and share your learnings for today's session. What stood out to you? Emanuela, Chinwe.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alex, for this great one. It's really insightful and thoughtful. And what stood out for me is the growth mindset. They're always eager to learn. I might not put it in your own way, on your own words, but I think that's kind of defines me, because irrespective of the challenges I'm faced, I'm always happy to learn, as in it's like a new phase of life, and it's really, really worth it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Chinwe, for sharing your learnings. Any other person wants to follow suit to share? Or SAS, Abigail, would you like to unmute your mic to share your learnings? Emanuela.
Okay, yes. I want to share my learning.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'd like to say a very big thank you to Mr. Alex. And then one thing, aside from what other alumni members have said, one thing that really stood out for me was when he said we should look at every criticism as a gift box, ignoring the wrap and paying more attention to the content. So that is to say, if I am to carve a niche for myself, learning really, really has to be a watchword, no matter the dimension it comes in. And it really stood out for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Manuela. That's a very good point to note. Hope everybody has picked that up from Emanuela. That was a very significant thing to take note of. Emmanuel or SAS, I don't know.
Hello.
Okay. Abigail, you can go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Hales. Thanks to all the facilitators. It has been a very impactful section. So I would like to just share what I've learned, and it all boils down to what we have learned today. Which is from the beginning, when he was talking about, he said our mindset thinks of ourselves, and it also helps us to think of talent and personality. So for me, I feel without
Abigail, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Thinking about all those things at first, everything has to do with our mind. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. I think it's the next one. Yeah, so he talked about need to constantly think about our personality, who we are, before we can, put in the right mindset to whatever we do in business, in career, in whatever we find ourselves doing. So, because all of those things determine us to, put action to doing them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Abigail, for sharing. So any other person that has learnings can drop whatever stood out for them during this session. Okay, Oduayo, you can just quickly come off mute and share your learnings so we can conclude on today's session.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so actually what stood out for me is the fact that you need to know your strength before thinking or deciding on what you want to go into. And secondly, what stood out for me is the emphasis made on learning. it goes a long way to show how important learning is every day of our life, and that there's no limit or there's no age where you need to stop learning. We learn every day of our life, and that's just what stood out for me.
Okay, thank you, Uduayo. Great. We have to just keep learning. Every day is a learning curve for us. We don't stop learning. Thank you so much for that significant learning that you picked up. Emmanuel is the last to go, then we move on to the next item.
Okay, for me, he actually said something about learn to break rules, but don't break the law. About that, I find that quote funny, but it's actually true though, because there was a skill I picked up while I was growing. There was a skill I picked up on my way, and I wasn't supposed to pick up that skill because working in that company, I was working as a cleaner. And then during those periods, I was actually learning something and doing the work which I wasn't supposed to do. And while I was doing that, I was like caught like frequently not to do that particular thing because of the position I was supposed to be cleaning and not doing that particular thing. But during the process, it came to a certain point that they were supposed to employ someone for that same position that I've already learned how to use the machines and other things that they were supposed to use to work in that particular section. So because I've already learned that particular stuff, they had to choose me over everybody else that came for the interview for that stuff. So when he said learn to break the rules and not the law, the quotes actually sounds funny to me because I've already done that in the past. So I really picked up that stuff when he said it, and it really helped when he said that.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I remember you saying this exact story during your training, when you were still in training. I remember. Oduayo, if your hand is still up, I think you should, or do you still have something else to say? You can put down your hand. Okay, Emmanuel, like I said, yes, that's a very significant thing to take note of. Thank you so much for sharing your learnings. I'm going to the comment section now. Chika said that what stood out to me was when she said we can always learn with or without the necessary tools by looking at YouTube videos, at least to have a knowledge of what we are learning. Learning is limitless. Otas has said a big thank you to Mr. Alex for this thoughtful session. My take home remains never to be restricted to our current state and situation. Always striving to break barriers and grow, to learn, unlearn, and relearn, as learning is a continuous process. Thank you so much, Osas. Thank you to everyone that has shared their learning. As for me, I learned a couple of things. Mindset is a way of thinking. We also need to be, as much as we are learning and we are improving ourselves in technical skills, always upskill ourselves when it comes to relational skills, because that's when we will need it. Because we need it the most at the superior level. And also to embrace our challenge. We should embrace our challenges. We should not look at our challenges as problems. Rather, we should look at it as opportunities to better ourselves. So that's what. So another thing again that stood out for me is to remain restless until you're the best in what you do. So that's some of my learning session. So once again, Mr. Alex, thank you so much for having us and for coming on this session to pour out your knowledge, into our waivers. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mr. Alex. God bless. And lastly, for alumni and waivers, please, if you haven't dropped your number and your network provider in the chat section, you can quickly do so that we can take note of those that were in the session to the end. And also don't forget to identify if you're unemployed or that's unemployed, still searching for a job. If you're employed, please kindly state what job role you're currently doing. And if you're a business owner, kindly do so. I know some people have already identified and I've already sent their information. So please kindly do so. Kindly do so we can call it we can end the session. Thank you. We'll still wait for a while to let those who haven't dropped their numbers and also before we go, the slide for this session is available. So if you would like to access the slide, you can, I will have to type our email. I'll type our email in this chat section, then you can take note of it. If you want the email, you can send if you want the slide for this session, it's available. So if you need it, you can just identify. I will send the email, our email to you shortly. Just give me some time. Okay.